Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and welcome to another fantastic game of StarCraft 2. This one is being played once again between WhiteRa, the red Protoss over here on the left side spawn of Lost Temple, not Shattered Temple, and his opponent, BratOK, the yellow Terran up here on the top side spawn. So we do have close running positions here on Lost Temple. This best of 3 series is being played for the Black Dragon League, and I guess their map pool was solidified before Lost Temple was removed from the BattleNet 1v1 ladder pool for Shattered Temple, so they are going to stick with it. And there you can see that cliff that people remember so fondly and will not be seeing very much of in the future. But yeah, Lost Temple. So a little bit of a throwback here. And this is Game 2 in the Best of 3 series, so if you haven't watched Game 1 yet, obviously go do that first, because I probably will reference that first game a couple of times here in the early game while not a lot is going on for our two players. And WhiteRa and BratOK, I'm sure they've played many, many times. They have both been playing StarCraft 2 since the beta, and they're both very prolific Brood War players as well. Barracks coming up here for BratOK, or BratOK. Still, I don't know. I haven't decided on what to call him. It just kind of comes out one way or the other whenever I say his name. It's almost like I just don't know how to pronounce his name, so there we go. Could be either one, but WhiteRa, very easy to say. It could be WhiteRa, or WhiteRa, or WhiteRa, but I'm just going to call him WhiteRa. Pylon coming down in a strange spot there, but at least it is going to protect his mineral line a little bit more from Hellions in case they do show up. WhiteRa did scout that close running position first with his little hero probe here. Going to get all of the scouting information. Of course, we see that BratOK is just doing the very standard Terran build, Orbital Command and First Marine popping out as you would expect, while on the production tab you can see that Cybernetics core for WhiteRa. Whoa, did it just switch? It switched to the SCV. I swear I had that probe highlighted first. Maybe I had both. Oh well, whatever. And yeah, Cybernetics core here for WhiteRa. Nothing crazy at all for him either. He is saving up a tiny bit of chrono boost here that he could be using on that probe, but maybe he's going to save it for warp gate tech once again. Last game we did see 3-gate expand, which is a very, very solid build order that I usually don't see out of WhiteRa that much. Honestly, it's usually either 4-gate or that 1-gate robo with a fast observer when he plays against Terran opponents, so I like to see that he's doing a build order that I didn't expect out of him. Axslav from Evil Geniuses is a big, big proponent of the 3-gate expand against both Terran and Zerg, so I like to see WhiteRa. Maybe he, came up with the build order on his own, but at least he is doing a similar build order to a North American player, which I think is cool. And first Reaper is coming out for BratOK. We'll see what, if any, damage he is able to inflict on his opponent here with this first Reaper. WhiteRa should have a Stalker out by then. Production tab, you see it just finished, and now a Sentry getting started as well. He could actually kite the Zealot all the way to death. WhiteRa really is kind of too far from home for that to not happen, but the Stalker, Hero Stalker from the left side, coming in from the natural, comes and saves that poor Zealot's life, and it looks like he's going to score an SCV kill, but the SCV does get far enough in here to see all this stuff going on here. Gateways number 2 and 3 coming along, so it looks like the 3-gate expand is going to be WhiteRa's build of choice this time around for Game 2 in this Best of 3 series. BratOK, on the other hand, sticking to what he did in the first game, 3 racks expand. We'll see if he chooses to get a factory and starport up faster this time, or if he's going to just make lots and lots of units, because that's what WhiteRa tends to do when he gets these mass gateways. And now we see 3-gate robo before an expansion, so he is switching it up just a little bit here. Robotics facility coming up a little quicker than we saw in that first game. And it looks like he's not saving up minerals here. Once these warp gates flip over, I'm sure he's going to make a couple of Stalkers or Sentry Zealot or something like that. And not an expansion. But 3rd gate is flipping over now. He doesn't have any pylons hidden anywhere strategic just yet, but I don't see him warping anything in either, so here comes actually a robotics bay very quickly. So 3-gate all the way up to the Robo Bay tech, going to have a Colossus there supported by lots of tier 1 units, while BratOK on the other hand is getting lots of Marauders and Marines. He's got his stim pack about 75% done. Combat shield once again, probably going to be his next upgrade of choice. Orbital Command just pumping away here, and he does have his second one finished, so he's going to drop mules and build SCVs from there for just a moment. There you can see he's actually done a nifty little trick there, landed it here temporarily so that SCVs have a shorter mining distance from these two patches, but all in all, not going to be a huge difference as he does bring it over to his natural now. WhiteRa still outnumbers him in harvesters, even on one base, but Chrono Boost, of course, is to blame for that. Now he has 75, close to 75 Chrono Boost saved up so that he can get this first Colossus out. Looks like he probably will be getting 2 Colossi very quickly instead of the Colossus and Extended Thermal Lances option, but we'll see what he chooses to do once his gas gets up a little bit higher. Looks like BratOK is moving across the map here, hanging out at the Xel'Naga Tower just for a moment. He's going to test the front here. He dropped a scan for some reason. That's kind of silly since this SCV is going to be here in about 2 seconds anyway. So he kind of wasted a scan and an SCV there. He could have saved one or the other. But what are you going to do? WhiteRa has an observer out now. He did get it out before that first Colossus started. We do see Extended Thermal Lance being researched now, so he is going to go for the upgrade quickly. There we see a good scan from BratOK taking out that observer, but of course WhiteRa saw all that he really needed to. Refinery number 2 finally coming up alongside this first factory, so it looks like medevacs are probably going to be BratOK's choice once again. He has a single Marine checking out all the other close expansions to WhiteRa, making sure he doesn't expand without him knowing about it. And we do see a Nexus actually started here at his natural that BratOK should be aware of. No, actually, it looks like WhiteRa did wait for that scan SCV combo to finish before dropping that Nexus. But either way, BratOK should be feeling pretty good here. He's got a solid army. WhiteRa's value is a little bit higher due to that Colossus, but BratOK's actual supply is a little bit higher. Harvester count still actually now favoring BratOK for the first time in the game, 39 to 32. He's been heavily producing these SCVs since landing that orbital command. He has quite a lot of Marauders and Marines, I should say. 6 Marauders, 17 Marines against 9 Zealots, 1 Colossus, 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry. One of everything except for Zealots and Colossi now, as that second one does pop out. A couple of probes being transferred over to the natural. Looks like WhiteRa's army sans Colossi is just hanging out at the Xel'Naga Tower. Here they are in all their giant glory. These are still really cool looking units. I don't care if you guys hate them or love them, but I think they just look really, really cool. I still really love the design, even if they were borrowed a little bit from War of the Worlds. Still a cool unit. And BratOK has his bunkers and kind of strange placement here. I guess what he's hoping for is the Zealots will crash into this first wave, and then the second bunkers back here will actually be able to take out the Zealots hitting the first wave. But with a Colossus, with 2 Colossi I should say, and Extended Thermal Lances, those bunkers are going to go down pretty quick regardless. And WhiteRa already taking a few shots here at BratOK's army. There is 1 Viking up in the air, and check this out before we lose sight of it. There is a medevac with 4 Marauders coasting around the side of the map and a scouting factory just outside of WhiteRa's natural. 3rd Colossus shows up here for WhiteRa, trying to torch down these bunkers very quickly. BratOK pulls just a few SCVs, but really there's no need to even do that as they weren't in range to actually hit anything. And yeah, we actually see the Zealots move in, taking a lot of fire from those back bunkers. We see another Viking here for BratOK. He needs to keep that alive if he's going to try and kill these Colossi off. And now the drop from BratOK is arriving in WhiteRa's base. We'll go ahead and keep that in the picture-in-picture while we watch Duckload Ra's Colossi taking out lots of Marauders and Marines here at the front lines. They cannot survive those huge damage. Laser beam swipes there. These Vikings are in great position here for BratOK to actually take out these Colossi. They're a little bit too far back for all the Stalkers to hit, but they're still in range of the Colossi, so 1 goes down. Both Vikings are actually killed as they get a little bit over-eager trying to kill off these Colossi. A lot of SCVs pulled for BratOK to try and repair this bunker up, but there are a lot of Stalkers and Colossi still alive for WhiteRa. It looks like BratOK is actually going to have the units here, unless WhiteRa presses in very quickly here. He's given BratOK a lot of time to create units out of those reactored barracks, and Vikings, of course, can still come out and help kill off these Colossi. Down to 1 now, and only 3 Stalkers, while these last few Marauders just stem up. They will be able to finish this off, I believe. Pulls them out of the bunker as well, and actually yes, he does actually finish off that last Colossus with that Marauder's last breath. And now WhiteRa GG's after losing his army. That drop was extremely successful over there in WhiteRa's base as well. So BratOK doing a lovely little defense and attack at the same time. Quite good play there from BratOK. And now let's go into Game 3 as the series is tied up 1-1 to see who will advance in the Black Dragon League.